Kevin Stefanski faces a quarterback crossroads. Shedeur Sanders, failed tests, and the Browns' growing dilemma. Introduction. A quarterback room on fire. Quarterback controversies are nothing new in the NFL, but what's happening in Cleveland right now is more than just another training camp storyline. This is a soap opera. This is a franchise-defining gamble. And at the heart of it all is rookie Shedeur Sanders, the polarizing son of Hall of Famer Deion coach Prime Sanders, who was unexpectedly thrust into the Browns spotlight. On one hand, fans see him as a beacon of hope, the quarterback who could finally lift the franchise out of decades of instability under center. On the other, coaches and insiders are whispering doubts, questioning whether Sanders has the readiness, discipline, and execution required to survive at the NFL level. This isn't just about Sanders completing a few nice throws in preseason or failing a checklist in film study. It's about something much bigger, a coaching staff torn between patience and panic, a fan base desperate for a hero, and a front office suddenly staring down trade rumors they can't afford to validate. Add to that the mounting pressure on head coach Kevin Stefanski, and you have the perfect storm brewing in Cleveland. The trade rumors, Shedeur as the NFL's most intriguing rookie asset. The quarterback carousel never stops in the NFL, and Sanders' name has already found its way into trade chatter. The Indianapolis Colts, still uneasy about their quarterback depth, see Sanders as an intriguing project with star potential. The Los Angeles Rams, eyeing life after Matthew Stafford, are reportedly lurking as well. The San Francisco 49ers, while loyal to Brock Purdy, know the unforgiving nature of the league. One stumble, and they'll be exploring contingencies. For some teams, Sanders isn't just a rookie, he's a lottery ticket. But for Cleveland, trading him would be a self-inflicted wound. On 92.3 The Fan, local radio voices Jonathan Petalin and Darrell Reuter made that point crystal clear. "I just think this just kills the fan base if they trade him," Petalin said. "Like, in many ways, this would be the most demoralizing thing. This season would be shot before it even started." In other words, move Sanders now, and you don't just lose a player, you lose the fragile hope of a fan base that's been burned too many times before. Flashes of promise, Sanders Panthers showcase. It's not like Sanders hasn't delivered moments that justify the hype. In a preseason showdown with the Panthers, Sanders stepped in while Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dillon Gabriel were sidelined. He didn't just manage the game, he owned it. Completing 14 of 23 passes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns, Sanders led the Browns to a commanding 30-10 victory. For a fan base starved of competence under center, that performance was more than a box score. It was a glimpse of what could be. Darrell Reuter reinforced that impression. "When I've watched practice during training camp, only 2 quarterbacks have thrown a football where I was like, oh, that was really nice. Wasn't Kenny Pickett, wasn't Dillon Gabriel. It was Joe Flacco and Shedeur Sanders." For Stefanski, this is where the problem begins. He can't ignore what the fans see, but he also can't ignore what the film room tells him. The harsh reality, failing every test. If Petalin and Reuter built Sanders up, Ken Carman and Anthony Lima tore him back down. On another segment of 92.3 The Fan, Lima didn't sugarcoat his assessment. He's failing every test. The tests, according to Lima, weren't about highlight throws or preseason touchdowns. They were the fundamentals of NFL quarterbacking, mastering the playbook, reading defenses pre- and post-snap, executing with pre-snap motion, performing under third-down pressure. By those metrics, Sanders wasn't just behind, he was miles off. The numbers backed it up. Pre-snap motion usage, Dillon Gabriel 45% versus Sanders 31%. Third down execution, Gabriel ran 63% of his snaps with motion, Sanders just 18%. Tight window throws, Gabriel hit 3 of 4, Sanders missed all 4. It wasn't just about failure. It was about being outclassed by a fellow rookie who entered camp with a head start. The bias factor, Gabriel's head start versus Sanders' uphill climb. Carman added another layer to the debate. highlighting the confirmation bias that has colored Sanders' evaluation from day one. Gabriel, a third-round draft pick, began camp ahead on the depth chart. That meant every mistake he made was brushed off as learning, while Sanders had to play flawless football just to keep pace. Then came the oblique injury, a setback that robbed him of precious reps. By the time he returned, Gabriel's rhythm was already established, and Sanders was playing catch-up. "I think there's just a giant difference between the fans, the media, and the Browns," Carmen said. "And I think this is going to be a weird thing where I can see a mess coming." A mess indeed. The Stefanski dilemma, fans versus football. For Kevin Stefanski, this is the tightrope walk of his career. If he leans toward the fans and elevates Sanders prematurely, he risks sabotaging the rookie's development and the team's short-term stability. If he sticks with the coach's evaluation and buries Sanders behind veterans and Gabriel, he risks alienating a fan base already skeptical of his leadership. Either way, it's a lose-lose situation, unless Sanders makes the leap Stefanski is waiting for. The emotional weight, hope versus reality. Peterlin nailed it when he said this isn't just about roster construction. It's about hope. For Cleveland fans, Sanders represents something bigger than just another rookie quarterback. He represents redemption after Deshaun Watson's catastrophic injury, fresh belief after years of inconsistency, and the possibility that maybe, just maybe, the Browns can finally stabilize their most cursed position. Trading him or shelving him indefinitely would be more than a tactical decision. It would be a betrayal of that hope. The numbers don't lie. Where Sanders stands. At this point, the statistics paint a split portrait. Upside: a strong arm, flashes of accuracy, and proven leadership in key preseason moments. Downside: inconsistent reads, low execution rates on critical downs, and gaps in mastering the system. He's both the rookie fans dream of and the project coaches fear isn't ready. What comes next? The future of Sanders in Cleveland. So what's the most likely outcome? Short-term patience. Stefanski rides Flacco and Gabriel while slowly integrating Sanders. Mid-season pivot. If the Browns struggle, the pressure to give Sanders real reps becomes overwhelming. Trade bombshell. The unthinkable move that Peterlin and Reuter warned would kill the fan base. For now, the Browns appear committed to keeping him in-house. But as the NFL has shown time and again, whispers can become reality fast. Conclusion. The franchise at a crossroads. The Shedeur Sanders saga in Cleveland is more than a quarterback controversy. It's a referendum on how the Browns balance football reality with fan-driven emotion. Kevin Stefanski is being warned, loudly and clearly. Mishandle Sanders, and the consequences will go far beyond the win-loss column. The fans see him as the future. The coaches see him as unready. Somewhere between those two perspectives lies the truth, and Stefanski's ability to navigate it may determine not only the fate of Sanders, but also his own job security. For Cleveland, the stakes couldn't be higher. Because if Sanders really is the future, then failing to recognize it in time won't just be a coaching error. It will be remembered as one of the most demoralizing decisions in franchise history.